on two key topics for tonight. The first being the police boss who decries inertia by Cameroonian ministers and also lament on the state of our roads. He used the example of the stretch from Yaoundé to Douala and over to Mutengene. He said for a very long time he had not witnessed such a road condition and was asking why the ministers were not doing their jobs in Cameroon. Secondly, we're going to be exploring the concept of social contracts in Cameroon's context. What is social contracts? It is that relationship that exists between the governing authorities and you and I, the population. How does it operate in Cameroon? We have those who are elected at the level of the presidency, at the level of our parliamentarians and across other elective positions. What is the rapport between those who are governing and the population in Cameroon? But we are going to start the program with this excerpt by the police boss.
Dès qu'il met en place un gouvernement, dans les 48 heures qui suivent, il réunit le conseil des ministres au palais de l'unité pour rappeler les orientations qu'il entend donner aux membres du gouvernement nouvellement mis en place pour suivre et exécuter les directives en vigueur qu'il a déjà données. Mais que faisons-nous? J'ai été jeudi au sud-ouest, à Mutengene. Entre Yaoundé et Mutengene, ça a été un calvaire pour circuler. Je n'avais jamais vécu cette situation auparavant. Pourquoi? Le président a donné des orientations, a donné des instructions. Il y a des membres du gouvernement en place. Que faisons-nous pour le développement de notre pays?
We are going to be discussing on this worry expressed by Cameroon's police boss. He was in the southwest region in Mutengene, to be precise, where he presided over the graduation ceremony of police officers from the Mutengene Police School. And to discuss on this topic with me in the studio, we have Fire Evis Tayon, who is under Secretary for Communication for the Cameroon Renaissance Movement. Good evening. Glad to have you.
Thanks, Mr. Kum. It's my pleasure, of course, being present here. Of course, we equally apologize coming late, you know. The road network, which the police boss, Mbargangele, is saying, is the same thing we've been able to witness. Of course, you could imagine the nightmare you take from Boya to Douala. The worst of it is, from when you are around the areas, Ndobo area, Carrefour Music area, it becomes another nightmare part 2. So I think we are glad that the police boss equally got time to see that, of course. And of course, we'll be analyzing that here. So greetings to the people of CRM Party, Professor Maurice Kamto, the Council of the Wise, and a host of others who were recently in Yaoundé for the National Council meeting with firm resolutions that were arrived at over there in Yaoundé. It's my pleasure, people of Gunoko Village, especially Dr. Fomiki Waters, His Royal Majesty, Dr. Fomiki Waters, and a host of others who are watching us right away. It's my pleasure being here today, Mr. Kum.
Bertrand Njito is Njito Bertrand, militant of the PAP party, all the way from Yaoundé, is in the studio with me also. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. It is a pleasure for me to be here today. Greetings to my fellow Cameroonians. Greetings to the PAP members, and especially to President Mr. Nsah, who is watching me live from Yaoundé. And I also want to send my greetings to my families and the people of Pernamboko, especially Cameroon. So today we are going to be looking at the outcry of the Delegate General for National Security we are beginning to see that our own leaders are not aware of the situation that we are facing. It is quite embarrassing that you see a leader who is not aware that we don't have roads in Cameroon. Like he went to Mutengene and is unable to hear complaining about roads or the root nature in Cameroon. So, Mr. Liu, today we are also going to be analyzing issues of such.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Liu.
For Evisa Tayong, coming from somebody of his rank, and this outcry was made in the South region. What would occasion this? Is it to say that the Delegate General for National Security is unaware of the situations of our roads in Cameroon? Why now?
Yes, I think we have to look at it in an honest part of it. I've gotten several persons, castigating the police boss, and probably saying it's like he's aware and he is just stirring problems. But I think it's not the way it is. I will tell you that you can count the number of times the police boss lastly visited the Southwest region. Even as the crisis has been going, I think we understand that his other officials have visited, yes, but not really him as per se. And so, Mr. Kum, when you get a report from a second-hand or third-hand party, it is different from when you live the experience. That's why I see when I keep saying that for the crisis, if we had some of the direct children of these bosses in Yaoundé present on the ground in this crisis and had some misfortune, they would have taken it, the pain would have forced them to look for the solution by all means. So, but when you only hear they say no, oh no, ça ne va pas, la route, but leaving it, because we'll imagine, for example, that Pam Bargangele, who is my good friend, I think I'll be with him shortly these few days. He's handling my file on my arrest, my last arrest in Boya by the police officials out there. So, but I think I have to be honest here that one thing is for sure, that if you look at Pam Barga's age, it tells you that he will not get the same resistance you and I will have when it comes to those kind of bumpy roads. I could take every day to Boya and here every day. Well, first I understand that I have no other choice. I have to live with that. So, but for somebody like him, we understand that since the crisis started, you could count about 1 or 2 times that he has actually visited. I mean, you for the 7 years I'm talking about.
No, but he's always there. He's always there to preside over the graduation ceremony
in police college. Now, but you realize what I'm saying is clear here, that seeing this one now, if you look at the last police college graduation which he officiated and now, I'll tell you the roads has gone worst. Now you realize that those roads, those potholes we find on the roads there, are potholes that were just like an iota, like a dot. And with the highest number of vehicles plying this road, because this road is linking several regions. If you take it from Bonaberi, where you have West region comes in, Northwest region comes, and then the South region are using it. Also another way that Manfe people from Nigeria and also from Idina use it. So automatically, its level of degrading is faster.
Yeah, but so he is not only decrying the roads from Douala to Mutengene. Douala Yaoundé is not the best. You came in from you came in from Yaoundé today.
Yes, I want to say that the Delegate General for National Security, he does the road linking Yaoundé to Mutengene. It is not actually what we are facing in Cameroon. Let him travel to areas like Bamenda, Boom Stretch of Road, Bamenda, Kambe, even between Douala, Bafoussam. He will see something in Mr. Liu. Even within Yaoundé, around the Biamasi Park, roads linking the central town of the country. You can't believe Mr. Liu. The Delegate General for National Security, he ought to move to other areas of the country so that he can see that the country is really dilapidating. Because moving from Yaoundé to Mutengene, Mr. Liu, at least the roads cars can walk on or pass on. But when you look at areas like Kambe, Stretch of Road to Fonfuka, Bamenda, Fonfuka, Mr. Liu, you'll be unable to believe that we are living in the 21st century, Mr. Liu. So I just pray that the government should see into this.
Yeah, but when you say he should move to these areas, it's not his role. He was going there because he's on duty, and he took upon himself to denounce this. Because let's just take a listen to it again. Follow very clearly what he says.
Dès qu'il met en place un gouvernement, dans les 48 heures qui suivent, il réunit le Conseil des ministres au Palais de l'Unité pour rappeler les orientations qu'il entend donner aux membres du gouvernement nouvellement mis en place pour suivre et exécuter les directives en vigueur qu'il a déjà données. Mais que faisons-nous? J'ai été jeudi au sud-ouest, à Moutenguene. Entre Yaoundé et Moutenguene, ça a été un calvaire. Un calvaire pour circuler. Je n'avais jamais vécu cette situation auparavant. Pourquoi? Le président a donné des orientations, a donné des instructions. Il y a des membres du gouvernement en place. Que faisons-nous pour le développement de notre pays?
When you look at it, he's talking about, he used the road situation as an example. He says, when the President of the Republic won elections and appointed ministers, I'm sure 24 hours later on, he has a meeting with all of them and gave orientations that maybe I want this fixed, I want this fixed, I want this fixed. Is he exposing to the world that these ministers appointed by the president are not doing their job? Because he clearly says that you, oh yes, those of you guys who are ministers, you were told what to do. Yeah. What is happening? Because the road could just be an example of the inertia that is existing in the government. Because you will also tell me that Yaoundé is clean. Yes,
Mr. Leo, this country, we are tired of instructions and promises. But I can remember when we were in primary school, we were being promised that 2035, Cameroon is a beautiful country. At the end of the day, Mr. Leo, when you go out of the inside, when you look at the cities, they are deliberating. We have Ashanti cities in Cameroon, Mr. Leo. He said that the president have given instructions, but when shall the instruction be delivered? The destination Cameroon, Mr. Leo, when you look at the Yaoundé stretch of road, the Yaoundé Douala motorway that the government launched 10 years ago. Till today, they are still at Bomiebe. We see billions of money that have been liberated for the construction of the roads, but till today, Mr. Leo, it took me 8 hours today to leave Yaoundé to Douala because of the nature of the road. Traffic held us at Japuma for an hour. So when he said they have given instructions, we will just wait to see because we are tired. They keep giving us instructions and promises, but till when are we going to enjoy this country, Mr. Leo? This is a beautiful country that we need to enjoy, but the leaders have failed us.
Yeah, is he reporting the ministers? Is he saying what others have failed to say? Because he says the president gave orientations. What is happening? Que faisons-nous pour développer notre pays?
Well, you know that to get the things straight is like what we call dog by dog in Pidgin, which tells you that the center is no longer holding. You know, in a kangaroo system, you also have this kind of scenarios whereby the least expected will become the most expected, so to say. If you look at it critically, you realize that a message is being sent across. And the message is a message of despair and disappointment by a fellow member of government. You know, it is sending a signal that people who were supposed to do what they are supposed to do are not doing their job. And therefore, the head of state, who sent him as per his prerogatives to preside at the graduation of the police of the students at the police college, is making the head of state to know that if you did not know, or head of state, if they were telling you that the roads are in order or the ministers are doing their duties, know that you have to be aware now that, as per what I have said, they are not responding as per se. So the main thing is that the message is going across. And as I said, people have taken it different directions. But to me, I think that I will only say that it takes honesty. Because some said, but the police boss is saying like this, how about IG cards, how about that? No. It doesn't mean that if I have errors in my own house, and then I see an error that you have done which is affecting my own self, I should not voice it out. He is just simply being human. And I'm sure that going back to Yaoundé, I am sure that he will go back to Yaoundé and surely go to the hospital. Because the traffic itself, that would hold him. Imagine, whatever one part of the town to another, from Nyala to Nsah. We'll say he has been coming to several graduations, but this one was just the one that God told him, see things now for yourself. You know, before then, Mr. Leo, previously when the police boy used to come, the escorts were always there to clear the road before time. And this is the problem I have with the kangaroo people in Yaoundé. I don't understand how a minister is passing from Yaoundé or coming from Yaoundé to go to Limbe or whatever, and escorts have cleared the road some 1 or 2 hours before time. But now we are getting to a situation whereby the escort should no longer do that. So that when you are a minister of public works, minister of housing and urban development, minister of social affairs, whatever thing you are coming to do in any part of Cameroon, once you are caught in traffic, you'll be able to feel the pinch of sitting for several hours and even going late for the event. You will now take a phone and call your colleague of the public works ou your colleague of urban housing and development, that please, vraiment, essayez de voir quelque chose, parce que ce que j'ai vécu là n'est pas bon. These are the things that we are supposed to have. Imagine that you are a police boy, for example, you go to the hospital, and the services are not in order, or you are the Minister of Social Affairs, or the Minister of Women's Empowerment. You go to the hospital and you are poorly treated. It tells you that that particular sector has a problem. It will be easier for you to call your colleague, public health, to tell him that, no, that this hospital I went to in Galemanduka, sincerely, the way the nurses are very arrogant. Please try to see into it. I'm sure this is what is happening in other health facilities around the country. But so this is what we call accountability. And I will tell people that for accountability, Mr. Leo, it is an interconnected aspect that gives birth to the well-being of a nation. That is, the various ministerial departments must be interconnected. So the issue is that you cannot live in isolation. So what Pam Barga said was just simply sending a message that ministers have not been doing their job, and it does not only end at the level of the roads, because we have several sectors that are not moving. And so the signal is that for ministers who understand, instead of getting angry, or ministers that have their followers, instead of throwing stones at Pam Bargangele, they should understand that the message is clear and clear. After he's 92, what is he losing? Even if he's fired today, he has made his life. So they just need to understand that the message is that upon all the ministerial conferences that have been holding, or ministerial meetings that have been holding, with firm instructions given for A to do this, B to do that, C to do that, at the end of it, it becomes clear and clear that they have not done their job as expected. So if I were the ones, the ministers concerned, we should have been able to get them from sleep.
Can we also see in this, anyway, let's look at the situation of our roads. We did a program on this last week. And the minister, the delegate general is also decrying the situation of the roads, though he's talking about the Yaoundé Mutengene roads. But let's look at how the roads in Yaoundé look like. Some of the roads, anyway.
Hello, Kum Leonard. Hello to you, viewers of Prime Television and My Media Prime. You're welcome to the nation's political capital, where we've decided to descend to our roads and take a look at the situation of our roads here in the nation's political capital, which has been described by most observers as being in an advanced state of dilapidation. So we are going to be examining the situation of our roads right here around Carrefour GP, where there are lots of potholes, and the situation becomes even worse when it rains. After that, we are going to take you to Mendong, which is also an area where we have bad roads with what we describe as pools each time there is rain. And then from there, the situation is even worse somewhere around Biscuitery there in from around Biamasi, passing through where we have most of the agencies that fly the Yaoundé-Bamenda highway. The situation there seems to be very worst with so many potholes around that area. I'm talking about from Carrefour Biamasi right up there to around Carrefour Obili. And then from there, we are also going to take you to Karamba, where the situation too is something that has been bringing forth lots of complaints from observers. It is now time for us to take one of our passerbys who has also been observing the situation. We are going to get to him right now. Hello, how are you doing? Look at the camera, please. Hello, how are you doing?
Bonjour, I'm francophone.
No problem, no problem. You can express yourself in French. There's no problem about that. Cameroon is bilingual. You are a car owner, and I'm sure that you've surely been having some issues with your car because of the bad state of our roads.
Non, vraiment, ça ne vaut pas la peine. Hein. Ça ne vaut vraiment pas la peine. Quand les responsables se placent à la télé, disent qu'il n'y a pas de trous en route, je sors le matin en voiture, je rentre à pied, vous-même regardez. Ce n'est même pas parler, vous-même regardez. Regardez. En plein carrefour GP, la gare présidentielle, c'est honteux, c'est malheureux. Il n'y a pas de route, on dit qu'il n'y a pas de trous, les poubelles, regardez vous-même. Ça doit changer, de qui se moque donc vous-même regardez. Tout le monde est obligé de partir à sens inverse. Hein? Voilà un camion comme ça qui doit garer parce qu'il ne peut pas faire le rond-point. Parce que c'est cassé, il doit attendre la nuit pour passer. Parce que si tente d'entrer, il va caler dans le trou, la route va se couper. Non, vraiment, c'est...
Okay, so now you spoke about, look at the camera please, you spoke about trucks, what you call it in French, camions.
Oui.
What do you think is the problem causing the potholes we have? What is causing the potholes we have around our roads?
C'est la négligence, non? C'est la négligence. Les vrais patrons sont assis là-bas, chacun manque de son argent, ils roulent dans les grosses voitures. Quand les papas responsables se placent à Mondio Visuel, ils disent qu'il n'y a pas de trous, le bas peu souffre. Hein? Tu sors le matin avec ta voiture, tu rentres à pied parce que c'est compliqué. Et ils ont les bons, ils ont les agents, ils ont les... Vraiment, ça ne vaut pas la peine. Hein. Ça doit changer. Il faut qu'on fasse quelque chose, ça doit changer. Ça ne vaut pas la peine.
So before we leave you, any suggestion you have? Because we are right here around Carrefour GP. Once we leave here, we are going to move to Karamba before moving to Biscuiterie and then. So any suggestion? Do you have any suggestion for authorities?
Oui, j'ai une suggestion. Il faut qu'on arrange ça. Parce à Karamba là-bas, quand il pleut, personne ne peut plus passer. Je dis personne ne passe plus. Ici au moins, il faut quand même, nous sommes dans un pays respectable. Hein? C'est le carrefour de la GP, la garde présidentielle. Vous-même regardez. Hein? Est-ce que ces choses comme ça devaient exister où? À la garde présidentielle? C'est pas sérieux. Ça veut dire qu'on n'est plus dans un pays sérieux. Disons-nous les vérités. Hein? À Karamba, là-bas, c'est grave. Dès qu'il pleut une semblant de pluie, personne ne passe plus. Mais quelqu'un va dire qu'il n'y a pas les routes, il n'y a pas les trous, il n'y a pas la poubelle. Vraiment, ça me dérange beaucoup, mon frère. Ça me dérange.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. See you next time when we are doing another report. So we are going to leave Carrefour GP right now, and we are going to take you to Karamba to observe the situation right there. As you heard in the introductory remark, when I introduced the areas which I had to visit, I mentioned Karamba, but I did not mention Etetat. We are here around Etetat. Etetat is situated in Yaoundé 7 sub-division. You can see for yourself images of how the situation looks like. It's a sunny day in Yaoundé, and if we can have this amount of water on the road, then you can imagine what happens when it rains. Many people and many observers who pass around here have described the area as a swimming pool, and so many people who live around here, sometimes they have to abandon their cars in their homes and then maybe use bikes or trek because the situation cannot permit their cars to pass around here, especially when it has rained. Let us now take you to Mendong, precisely around the gendarmerie, where the stretch of road there is also having issues. Roads here around the gendarmerie Mendong, right up to Marché Mendong, are marred by potholes and cracks, compromising safety and hindering navigation. Let's take a look at the situation.
état de la route, ça reflète l'image du pays. La route est mauvaise partout. La biscuiterie est pareille, Kondongo est un peu de partout. C'est ça le mauvais état de la route. Ça nous garde les motos et jusque-là, les gars de la mairie ne veulent pas nous laisser.
Same observation from this area here at Carrefour Biamasi to around Carrefour Obili, passing through Biscuiterie. We observe dilapidated infrastructure which persists with inadequate drainage. We discover too that the poor road conditions hinder commerce, increase accident risk, and have economic implications, including reduced commerce and increased transportation cost, creating traffic too, considering that most of the 70-seater buses around this area ply the Yaoundé-Bamenda road.
There are so many things that affect the car. Example, we have shocks and steering box. That is the only two things that spoils vehicle in the road. Shocks and steering box, the tires.
So how often do people come around here with problems related to shocks, tires and other issues when complaining about the situation of roads?
So many. There are so many people come here. It's not that same problem. So many people.
It's very, very terrible because I cannot count how many times I enter the garage per week because of due to the state of bad roads. You have shocks, you have kingpins, you have a steering socket, and you have steering box. Often get bad because of this road.
Road users, drivers, as well as other observers were clear with their intentions. They want the Cameroon government to undertake immediate repairs as well as long-term infrastructure development and collaborate with residents to address this critical issue. Right here.
Country.
But that's where you live.
Yes, actually, Mr. Leo, but
Are you saying you are not aware of
that is why I got in 2020. Till today, Mr. Leo, I've never seen the original. But in the nutshell, we have people who goes on and pay money for ID cards to be released in 2 days. Not all Cameroonians can afford ID cards for 50,000, 60,000 from Mr. Leo. I did this ID card for 4 years ago, but till today, have not seen the original. He has failed in his own domain. When he mentioned about roads, we have the Minister of Public Roads or Transport. Meanwhile, he's supposed to ensure that Cameroon have good roads. We have countries like Ghana. We have neighboring countries like Equatorial Guinea. They are developed. Cameroon is a great country, Mr. Leo, but the leaders have failed us. That is why PAP, that is why we are looking for a change in 2025. That's why we are mobilizing. So my fellow youths, Cameroonians that are watching me live now, we should mobilize and look for a democracy.
It will not really be sabotage as per se, but it is the lack of the interconnection between the top and the other branches that make up the different government structures. We don't have a system iota of accountability. Now, if you go to the People's Republic of China, accountability is there. What does it mean? The moment there is an accident caused by probably a pothole, the minister in charge is immediately called up. And what do they assume? They assume that if the minister was not negligent, that accident would not have occurred, and maybe 1 or 2 persons would not have gotten injured or killed or died, or probably might have been killed as a result of the accident. So you see, people take their responsibilities because of a system. Now, the problem we have here is not really sabotage for the ministers, probably as Pam Bargangele says it, but it's a matter of the fact that they take things for granted because the system has been structured in a way that gives them that latitude to relax and free themselves, in which case they feel as if they are autonomous bosses on their own. Now, take for instance that if we had a system that these checks and balances are there, people will not be promoted when they do wrong things in Cameroon. On the contrary, those who do the wrong things are the ones who get promoted overnight, while those who do the right things are the ones who are relegated to the background and they become assistants, or they never go through promotion for one reason or the other. So, if we are talking about what Pam Bargangele says in the issue of pinpointing ministers who have failed the head of state on particular appointments, assignments, it is just a technical way of him not also wanting to blame the head of state. Because I said, once you are the head, if things go wrong, people should be courageous enough to say, you, the principal, or you, Mr. Kum Obamida Prime, you are at fault. That's why in the Western world, there is the culture of resignation. Donald Trump is going for his rally. He has attempted assassination. And what happens? The director of the intelligence unit in the US resigns immediately. That is saying that if I had taken precautions, Donald Trump would not have been attacked and would not have even been killed if he was to be killed in that attack, in that rally. So because I did not put in place adequate measures, I take the responsibility by resigning. That is a culture of owning up where you have failed. Now, the policy of apportioning blames in our kangaroo system does not solve the problems as per se, because A will blame B, B will blame C, but where is the target coming from? I keep saying this. If you come to CRM and there's a problem, Professor Maurice Kamte is the first person they target. Because as a head, why is it that at the base or this level things have not gone? But now when there is a check and balance mechanism in CRM, Professor Maurice Kamte is able to get direct information that a particular party unit in Bonaberi has a problem. He gets the information in Yaoundé and he sends persons to arrange it immediately. If it's a party unit in Marwa and all the like. So when you have these structures put in place, it means that the mechanisms gives you a stronger institution and not strong men. What we have here is what we call I-servants. Now, the system in the kangarooism now has been structured in an I-servants-oriented mechanism. In the I-servants-oriented mechanism, ministers want to work. For example, when President Paul Biya had to visit in the 50th anniversary in Buea, bam, Buea was superb. People brought a kind of tar and patched the roads between Douala right up to Buea. It was patches. But the moment President Paul Biya came and left, within 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, the potholes started resurfacing. And nobody is there to ask the question, but who did this job? Who had this contract? Why is it that after the head of state has gone back, this road is getting bad? It means that somebody did not do his job rightly and punishment is supposed to be meted. Who gave this contractor the contract even? It means the person himself is supposed to be blamed. So these are the errors that we find in all of this, and we think that sabotage on my part is not there. But if we restructure the system, President Paul Biya puts in place a check mechanism that if you are found guilty of not doing your part, you the minister must go in for. How long have you taken without cabinet reshufflement? Without any cabinet reshuffle? It's call for concern. Because with the roads and the death and the rate of death, you cannot tell me that a country that records over 3,000 deaths annually is supposed to be celebrated in terms of roads infrastructure. No. On the contrary, those ministers are supposed to have resigned. Because just getting that today, we have an accident in Marwa, in Gaude Marwa stretch of road. The next time, Garwa Bulai road. The next time is in Babaju Western region. The next time is in Littoral region. Tiko Douala. I mean, accidents on regular basis should tell you that that particular minister is not an aspect of, like the Minister of Transport saying you suspend travel agencies. No, that's not the solution. It means something is wrong along the line. And that's why I said, the transport minister cannot work alone without the minister of transport. There is supposed to be that cohesing collaboration amongst them. And once it is absent, We get the quagmire we find day in, day out.
But the Delegate General for National Security, Matemba Ngangile, actually says is asking themselves as ministers, what are we doing to develop our nation?
Yes, Mr. Liu, actually, when he mentioned that he was just trying to also prove himself, because when you look at the nature of the country, the system have been dilapidated. Because when you look at the nature of the roads, when you look at the system of the government, Mr. Liu, it's not working at all. It has failed. When you look at the nature of the contracts, for example, road contracts, you see most of the roads in Cameroon are being constructed by Chinese. And Cameroon government borrows money from China annually. When you look at billions, Cameroon government owes China billions of money, Mr. Liu, but yet there are the Chinese who still come and construct.
We have Satom. Satom is not China. Eh? We have Burns, which is a Cameroonian company. We have Razel, which is a French company. Yeah.
Most of the companies are Chinese workers, have Chinese workers there. They come there to exploit us. See, yet the roads, when the roads in Cameroon, when you see a road that is just 2 years old, the roads that have been constructed in 2018, when you pass on the roads today, Mr. Liu, you will not believe that it was a road that have been constructed just from years ago. But there are countries countries like China itself, when you go there, they construct roads, Mr. Liu, that even after 30 years, you can be able to work on the road, Mr. Liu. But in Cameroon, when you end the construct roads after 2 years, Mr. Liu, the roads start having potholes.
Yeah, but if you were to take the Douala Yaoundé stretch, it's been there for over 20 years. Douala Boya Road, the highway has been there for long. What we have noticed on these roads have been repair works, and the minister of public works actually,
Mr. Liu, the Yaoundé Douala road is not actually a highway road. When you want to look at the highway road, look at countries like Ghana. You look at a road, you say this is highway road. These roads here are roads we're supposed to be in the quarter, Mr. Liu. Because that's why we have constant accidents. Yesterday we had an accident along Nsah, the Chang route, Bamenda, Bafusam. When you had people, it was a truck that collided with a 70-star bus because of the nature of the roads. The roads are so tiny.
The roads are not too good, but are the drivers themselves not reckless? Because even in town, here in Douala, you see the way drivers are driving. Yes, if the roads are small and we have potholes, why not also be more
Mr. Liu, we can't say the drivers are not at fault at all, but the blame should go more on the government. Because when you look at national roads, when you look at what really the meaning of national road, Mr. Liu, or wait, or highway road, the highway road is not what we have. We don't have highway roads in Cameroon, Mr. Liu, but yet they construct toll gates. They construct toll gates on roads that are not qualified to be highway roads. So Cameroon government, we need a change in this country. We need, next year, 2025, Mr. Liu, it's a year of revolution. We need a change of power because we have been crying for over 42 years, Mr. Liu, and since we were in primary school, they have been promised over 2035, Mr. Liu, till today. We can't boast of electricity in most of our areas in Cameroon. Even where we have access to electricity, Mr. Liu, we cannot barely have 24-hour lights. So we pray that let the other youths, the other Cameroonian youths, join us, and we should fight for a revolution, a democratic revolution come next year.
Okay. Fire Vistayon.
Yeah.
Who is this message? Who is the Delegate General for National Security? Who is he addressing in this outing?
He's addressing the...
Sending it to the President of the Republic, or
no.
He's calling on the ministers to get from Slumber, because we must also note that I'm sure end of year 2013, the President of the Republic raised the issue of inertia in government.
Yes. What Barangangele is doing is simply sending two levels of messages. One is an informative message to the head of state that know that if you thought your ministers were working from every indication, know that you need to revisit their activities on the ground. Point number two is sending a direct alert message to all the ministers who have been sleeping on their lorries and not helping to accompany the visions of the head of state, which has now failed and now taking the tone of a kangaroo system. That message has been clean and clear. And that's why within the ranks and files in Yaoundé, there has been a lot of jittering. They are not just the least happy, you know. It's like, you know, and the fans of the ministers are the ones who are taking arrows towards Pam Barangangele. For according to them, he has said what he was not supposed to say. And just like I said, many persons tend to blame the loopholes we have at the level of the procurement of ID cards and other services at the level of the Delegation of National Security. But I might not be a mouthpiece for Pam Barangangele, but all we know is that the country, first of all, has made an error by taking its ID card production and handing it over to a German firm, which has to do with sensitive information about persons in the country. To give it out for a German firm is already an error, and the German firm can do and undo even against the wish of Pam Barangangele, because he will not control them compared to the way he would have been able to hit his hand on the table if it was managed by a Cameroonian firm. These issues are some of the quagmires we find ourselves. And so with the message sending is a hard message. The truth is bitter, but must be spoken. Yes, many will say, but why now? He has been coming and carrying out officiating graduation ceremony at the police college day in, day out. But I think that God has made in a way that the time he is experiencing this quagmire surely could be something which has equally affected him, even within his spirit and his soul and his health. That does not keep him comfortable. That you will see the driver each time he's struggling to navigate away from a pothole. Each time the driver is struggling to stand on a long line for us, because vehicles cannot narrowly go through the highway because of potholes that are on the highway. And so all in all, the message is clear that things are not going well, caused by those who are appointed by the head of state, President Paul Biya, thereby failing him. And as I said, from time to time, it takes just a particular time and it takes a particular action to let the awareness go through. I will not be surprised that after this we'll get a cabinet reshufflement, because the bell has been rung already, giving signals that if something is not done adequately. Look at the report we just watched there from Yaoundé. We are talking about states of roads in a capital city. Well, I might say maybe Pam Barangangele lives only from Bastos, his residence, and then straight to work, you know, at the administrative center there in Yaoundé, where we have the governor's office there in the central region, and back. So this place of shuttling between his house, Tar Road, and to his office is another impediment that has made him not to understand that other areas in Yaoundé are the same. But I would think that our administrative officials, irrespective of where you are, should be watching medias. If you don't have time to go there, watch the media. I watched a government official, one of a minister delegate of one of the ministries, without calling name, who took some time and responded that he is not sure that the bad roads people are crying or complaining is in Yaoundé. Whereas he himself lives in Yaoundé, he said he cannot believe that where he's living in Yaoundé, these roads are in Yaoundé. So he does not believe that these roads people are decrying are roads in Yaoundé. Now what does it mean? I think we are getting a little bit further from this now. What do we expect from all of this? People must understand that you must not only move to a particular event, because when you have decentralized services, it means that there should be that mechanism of visiting them, whether events are there or not. For example, I would expect Pam Barangangele to have started sometime and say he wants to visit the police post in Banga. Would that necessarily an event? Just to see how to get to commune with the police officers in Banga, to talk with them, and to see how they are battling with issues and the border between Banga and the Southwest and other security challenges, and to sit and take a surprise visit to visit the police station in Mora to boost up the morals of the police officers there. If he was doing this in a regular routine, I am sure he would have discovered the roads more than the way they are now. So I would appeal on the police boss. Please take time and visit the police station in Ewane. Surprisingly, take time and visit the police station in Sabongari. When you get all of this, by so doing, he will understand the road network, and then he can now relay with his colleague of the public works that Spremang Sanevapa Ifo fake issues.
Good evening. I'm following from Equatorial Guinea. Really, the present government has sent Cameroon backwards. I remember when I was growing up, bus used to get to my village. Today, 2 months, no car in our village. The people who are working with the president always tell the president all is well, when it is actually not well. Good evening, Mr. Liu and his team panelists. I am Barrister Leslie Njue, addressing you today from Bamenda. As a concerned citizen, I am compelled to question the allocation of the Ministry of Public Works annual budget. Specifically, I'd like to highlight the stagnant state of our nation's infrastructure, exemplified by the Bamenda Babaju Road and the Bamenda City, especially Siben Up Station. Despite being touted as 95% complete, this project remains dormant with no discernible progress. Cameroon's roads are in shambles. Potholes, dust and craters mar our highways. Travelers endure endless delays and risk. Economic growth suffers due to poor connectivity. Let's take a listen to what Jato Derek did in Boya. That was last week, though we heard it already.
So, how do you feel with this passing of the road?
No, if you look at it, first of all, our vehicles are there to look at the road. The large vehicles that are plowing this road, they are destroying the roads. Then, two, you look at children, they cannot even go to school. They are late. If you go behind Monya, they cannot go taxis. They are refusing to pass through this place because of the bad road.
So, what should be done?
I think that they should tire this place.
You are the concern of this heavy duty cars flying the road at me.
Yes, it's a very terrible situation. They come and the way they run the pass, they don't even give road for us to pass. So that's the problem.
That is the problem. These heavy duty cars who are a problem here, and this is one here. The chopping traffic. That is not all. It is quite a shame now in the city. Students are here. They don't know when they'll get into their classes. That is the price they pay every day for living. In this other neighborhood, but it is not their fault. We're talking about this bad road and how cars have been affected. This is just a victim. Of course, one of the victims is like its tire came out because of the bad road, and now it is abandoned here. This can be another situation that can aggravate to cause another problem because it is parked right on the road and it can cause an accident. This is not normal. You could see the road, National Road number 8 over here in Boya, the Southwest Regional Capital of Cameroon. The historic town don't have anything to show of it, and you could see from here, if you are applying this road, just hope for the best, but prepared for the worst, because this road is showing no mercy, and the population here is vulnerable. There's nothing they can do about it. Mr. Leo, there's a famous story now in town concerning this particular stretch of the road. Just to remind you that we are at my 18th stream. This is not the stream that is named after my 18. This is a man-made stream. The my 18th stream that we know of is at that other end or at that other far end. But this one now is the talk of the town. There's a problem here, and we have information that some good Samaritans came here, volunteered, and to laterite here, what we call here seawall. They put laterite here, tons and tons of laterite, and when the government got of it, those good Samaritans were arrested. That is not the story. When they were arrested, they were fined. That is not the story. After they were fined and released, they were being told to come here and dig up the laterite that they kept here. Many people in town now are wondering that even if it was a damage, but it was a good damage, why could the government just allow the laterite that was put here to ease circulation? The laterite was dug up. My media prime hour our team is here to independently verify the authenticity of such an information. But we hear the lateral that was put here was docked up, leaving this place in this bad state. So this is the price cars are paying here to ply this road. You must be sure that when you must have crossover, you will have something to lose. Either your car will get bad, or even yourself, you have a lot of problems. You see that way, it needs a lot of tack. If my camera could go that way, you need to be very careful, and there's a particular track that you must follow, and if you miss it, you are in trouble. So this is the daily routine here. It is not a new normal in Boya. Just see what the man-made my 18th stream has to cover. Even us, we need to be very careful, because there's a lot of things, or there are a lot of things that are at stake. There are a lot of things that are at stake. Apart from the bad roads, the health situation too is questionable, because this water is dirty. It is stationed here, and you can imagine what is going on with such a pool of water in the middle of the city. You could see it this other way. I pray that my good friends could say something. How are you? Good morning. Are you going to school? Why have you not taken a taxi?
There's not.
Okay, thank you very much, Jato Derek. That is the situation of the mile 18 stretch of the road linking mile 17 to Muya. Very terrible situation. Even moving down to mile 16 and down to Mutengene, the situation is not rosy, especially when you move from Mutengene down to Tiku and then coming down to Douala. A very disastrous situation out there. I remember the time one takes to drive from here to Boya is to some extent boring, because the distance is not too long, but because of the state of the road. Yeah, but now, which other sector of, if we say the roads are not too good, which sector is moving smoothly in Cameroon?
Mr. Leo, it is quite sad that the video we just watched, we see cars swimming on the roads in Boya in the 21st century. It is really embarrassing. It shows how the system has failed. And based on your question, Mr. Leo, I can say that there's no sector in Cameroon that I can boast of, because when you look at employment, failed. When you look at jobs opportunity, failed. Education, failed. When you look at the system of the government, nothing's working, nothing's moving, Mr. Leo. Because when you look at the structure, what is on the paper is not what's happening on the ground, Mr. Leo. When you go even to the police stations, you see the law enforcement there is not what actually the law says. So I can't really say that there's a sector in Cameroon that is working well, 50%, Mr. Leo. Then I must be lying. But when you look at the nature of the country, we need to reshuffle the country, Mr. Leo. The country needs a reform. We need to change the system, because they have failed in all directions, Mr. Leo. Thank you.
Okay, they need reforms. Let me get what our viewers are saying. Good evening to you all. Mr. Leo, the police boss, complaining of the bad roads and blaming the Ministry of Public Works should equally solve the problem in his department. Someone will make an ID card and wait for 5 years to get the original. I think this government has failed in every aspect. Mark Aswiru, writing from Limbe. Mr. Kum and your crew, for this siren on the routes we have in Cameroon, it's a pity that we even host international marathon on our roads when the dimensions are not what even cars and pedestrians can contain. I would suggest we should not only have road safety and police control assigned on our roads, but that the country provide us with good roads. This is Jibuin Emmanuel, Aka Legacy, watching from Bona Musadi, Douala, next door. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Kuma. Regards to your panelists. In my opinion, concerning the lamentations of Mr. Mbarangangele, I see in it as the beginning of the end, a time of reckoning. If it's coming from within, then there is hope for Cameroonians that things may change for the better. But let's not the pot call the kettle black. All of them are responsible, including him, the police boss. Tumi Gilbert is writing from Douala. Greetings to all in the panel. The issue of roads can be be far back traced. My question is, it's another person's domain. What about ID cards? Is it different from the road calamity? In short, what is the way forward? Not complaining about each other's jurisdiction. Okay. Now, if this was done by, say, Honorable Cabral Libi and Professor Riskamto, Honorable Joshua Osi, would say, okay, this is coming from the opposition. Coming from within the, the government, the governing class, what is the implication? That it is from within the circle of our government that an outcry on the terrible state of our roads is coming.
Well, it is an indication that that things are falling apart. And for it to take all these years before we get this kind of outright complaint in a special event that brought together dignitaries for that matter, I think it's just timely. And I think we are going to get more of those complaints in the days ahead, especially for those who use those services. Because if you don't use the service, you cannot complain. As I said, if a minister had gone to one of the hospitals in his village and probably he was in pains and anesthesia was not even there to be administered to him to kill the pains, I think he'll be able to understand what we as normal citizens go through. So it's a matter of time that people must live that experience, even though there are some who can live the experience. I will not be bold enough to talk the way Mr. Mbargangele spoke. So it's just I call it God's time. They say God's time is the best. If Pambarga can just experience that just from Yaoundé to Mutengene, he can imagine what some of us who go around every month, we have not less than 4 or 5 trips we make. He can imagine what we go through until we have developed thick and resistant skin, such that we just say we don't have any choice. Our own, even in terrible kind of cars, not even his own that brand new, good shock absorber, good everything, air condition. So it happens like that. But the message we have, which we deduce from what he sends out, is just for the simple reason that it will not say it is a wake-up call, to be more precise, that is alerting the powers that be. Not only President Paul Biya, even the Prime Minister and head of government is alerting him to get up from sleep. That please, you need to check on your ministers and to be sure that they do what they are supposed to do. Head of state, you need to get up. If they're delegated powers to the State General, the Presidency of the Republic, he too needs to get up. Each and everyone has to activate a mechanism that will hold people responsible. Now, we are blowing this ground because we are not into the system. But if we're in the system, we'll be finding out, is it that the money is there and the minister is not doing anything? It's still another question we're asking. Because you could be a minister, we're hitting hard on you, when maybe you had proposed several times, and they tell you in your palajam. It's still another thing. Take into consideration that whooping sum of money is going into combat the Boko Haram that are quite disturbing us in the far north and has been there for 7 years plus to support or to sustain the conflict we have in the northwest and the southwest region. Now, if all of these things are taken into consideration, because of the questions we need to ask further, since we are not in the government mechanism system, to see that did the minister, Mr. Ngadum Jumesi, did he ask for funds for this to be done this way? Is not there. If he's not there, then it means he has done his own part, and then it means that the police that the funds are not there. And why are the funds not there? Or do we have misplacement of priority, buying jeeps, making several trips abroad, convoys in disorder? In Senegal, fire has warned people don't move with more than 3-4 convoys of cars. It's not because he does not like convoy or he does not want to see minister of convoy. It's because he knows that these convoys go with additional expenditure. They go with additional outstation allowances and what have you. And all of these are mechanisms you can put in place as a state to reduce all these expenditures with the numerous cars that are just standing there at the ministries, and then you can be able to put it down in repairing the roads. So the main thing we'll be finding out subsequently will be if the ministers concerned have even made an effort, Because we could be crucifying these ministers when maybe they made an effort and then they only got a stumbling block from some quarters that no, that one will become a different ball game. But as of now, if they have done that, it means it also warrants them to come and reply, Mr. Mbarangangele. That way, as you stand like this in public, not that we have tried, but it's that the funds are not there, or the road is in this project earmarked for 2030 or 2040. They tell us. So if we want to support the roads and make sure that we start receiving the gutters and fish ponds on the middle of the road, even in Douala, to start doing our fishing, then some of us will resign from journalism and come and start doing fishing in Douala, fishing in UP, fishing at Bonaberi. It will do us a lot of good. Because even as we speak, even just around Carrefour music there, you ask yourself, what is the issue? Look at the report Jato just made there, that some persons of goodwill come to pour later right there, and they are picked up, locked up, and they paid money before leaving. And if that story is true, it means that we call this witchcraft in broad daylight. Because you cannot tell me that people who come to survey a station are instead punished, because the law states that that road is national road. If it's national road and the nation is not coming to repair it, what stops individuals from doing it? And then we as the civilians and the road users can now come to assist them with 100 francs, 50 francs, and all the like, for them to earn a living. It's so sad when I heard at that time that some of those guys were arrested and locked up, and I asked myself, where have we kept our consciences? That even to help, the worst of it, that report which I got so worried, is the fact that if it be, as Jato is still investigating, that the lateral, that they forced them to remove the lateral, it means it is capital witchcraft, both broad daylight and at the same time midnight. It becomes double witchcraft. That even after the person had left it, after you have released the person, you still order the person to come and remove the lateral from the waters. My 17 checkpoint, the police checkpoint used to be like that, and we had to cry foul several times. But the question is, must you have a government where the people must cry day in, day out, things must happen before they come for rescue? No. It means something is wrong somewhere. And I ask myself, what happens? I'm sure a government official passed there and complained. If that road in Munya was somewhere around Bongo Square, or so around my 17, which is the only major way entering Buya, I'm sure they would have been able to listen to it. Now that it's going to somewhere that the minister hardly use it, but then something will definitely take a minister to that Kumba, which will force them to pass through that road. Then they will understand the gravity of what is happening. But then people must take their responsibilities.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Leo. This is Cedrick from Santa. The police boss is right, but he should also examine his own sector. The most corrupt sector in the country is the police. Is he not aware of the corrupt behavior of policemen and their poor routes in the country? Good evening to you all in the studio. The government is to be blamed 100% for bad roads in this country. I've seen a situation where citizens put ground on potholes on the road and they were arrested, precisely mile 14 Boya. This is not to show that the government likes the situation of the road how it is. Same example like that of mile 18, which the person was arrested, locked and fined. The situation is terrible and the government knows what to do, and they are keeping it to use it for campaign strategy, because I don't know their reasons of leaving it like that. Derek is writing from Limber. Good evening, Mr. Liu. The government in the country is not serious. How can we even be looking at these forest roads in the name of national roads? I'm so embarrassed and ashamed of myself to be called a Cameroonian. Cameroonians should rise up in the numbers and do something about this disgraceful government. Okay, next year. Good evening, Mr. Kum and all the panelists. Cameroonians should blame themselves. Okay. This was it. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm watching from Boya. Many thanks for this program. In truth, Cameroon has no roots. The people of Tombel subdivision have no route. For 18 years today, no caterpillar has passed on the road. Many people sick, die on the road. Women put to bed on the road. I am talking of the road from Tombel through Nyasoso, Ndum, Baseng to Bangem. We think something should be done urgently. Maybe our ministers and parliamentarians are sleeping. Thank you. May God bless you. Okay. And so many persons are not too happy. Could we also understand that the situation has gotten too bad because of the excessive rains we are in the rainy season?
Actually, Mr. Leo, the issue is not about rain. I'll start by saying that we can only thank God for the ceremony that took place in Mutengeni, that the Delegate General for National Security had the opportunity to travel and see things for himself, because actually there is nothing going better in this country, Mr. Liu. He saw just 1% of the nature of roads in Cameroon. He needs to travel to other areas of the nation and he will see things for himself. There are areas in this country where even bikes cannot pass through, Mr. Liu. But the Delegate General for National Security, he failed to understand that in his own domain, things are not working well. When he goes to areas like Boya, they arrest students there on a daily basis. Without, some police officers arrest without warrants of arrest, which is actually not in accordance with the rule of law, Mr. Liu. But he failed to look at this concept, which is more of his domain. But we can't condemn him looking at the direction of the roads, because it is part of the government and he's part of the government. And we only thank God that the government have begun to understand that they are also failing. And we keep praying that next year things will change, that next year we will have a new Cameroon. That's what we are looking for.
When you look at the situation of our roads, almost all the roads are not in good shape. You are in Douala. I don't know, you were not part of the program we handled last time in Douala. Eli, I don't know whether we can have the excerpt of Charles Kibwa in Bomenda and then Dolingonde in Douala. Once they are ready, let me have it. But is it our also poor spirit of maintenance spirit that has gotten us to this level where almost everywhere the roads are bad?
I will not just say it stops at the level of maintenance.
Yeah, because
I would say
maintained.
I would say it stems at the level of the quality.
Okay.
Because you cannot tell me that we had female AFCON that took place even in Limbe.
Even the male AFCON.
Even the male AFCON, the roads were patched. Within 1 year, it got bad. Something is wrong even with the patching. The quality is where the problem is. Because when you construct roads, what materials do you use? Now, road engineers will tell you that in an area where they test the soil texture and discover is marshy or it has so much water, the material then needs to be mixed with nylon so that it prevents the tire itself from getting bad over time. Which means nylon has to be the material that supersedes the mixture up there, so it becomes waterproof incline. Now, these are common sense issues that comes to road engineering and construction, that people will understand that when you are constructing a road, they what they call a projection. The quality of the road by road engineers and as per the specification of the contract is supposed to have a lifespan. This road should have a lifespan of 100 years. This other one, you can manage, if it's quarter roads, you should have a lifespan of 50 years. Now, once you fail with this, we cannot talk about national roads. As I said, people who even cross to Ikom, or you get to Ikom, when they tell you that this national road, Munya, that lake you find there, they say that lake there is national road. You start asking yourself, have we been cursed by evil spirits of different orders? It becomes a call for concern, because a national road has a lake in the middle. A national road is like a footpath. But when you are in Los Angeles or you are in Washington DC, now let me come to Africa. Let us take you go to Nigeria itself. You are driving from Cross River State. Yes, we are in Cross River State, coming right down to Ikom. You see the largeness of the road, the width of the road. You can call that a national road. We don't have that here. That even the autoroute that they call, that's in Yaoundé. You now realize that between Boumyebe to start getting to the autoroute, it's still like a footpath. The width of the road is not above 10 meters. It's not above 10 meters. You start asking yourself, but what if we're talking about a road that is heavily used by vehicles that are coming from different directions? How do you manage that? It will still result to traffic in the shortest period of time. So the issue of the road is not maintenance as per se. The issue of the road, as per, for me, one is the quality of the road. Why do we construct a road and then within the same year it's really getting bad? It's the same thing with a public investment project. I was one time in Kumba that a finance building in Jian was constructed. Within 1 year, it had a crack from up to down. A story building. Kumba also had the same when I was there. That the story building, the finance building, already had cracks. That is constructed not more than 2 years ago. You start asking yourself, but why will it have this? And then you have other structures, say German structures, that were constructed, and the assistant in the test of time would not the least crack till today. It means that the quality of the work matters a lot. And if the government does not put in place a mechanism to check on the quality of work without bribery and corruption, we will be able to sustain this road. Is it the law that we must be maintaining roads every day now and then? The best things to do is to scrap the entire tar even, and you put in a tar with quality that has a projection of a century. Have we gotten to that? We can get to that. Why? Because the raw materials are with us. We are not importing tar. We are not importing the concrete. We are not importing this and that. So what stops it? The willpower to do that is not there. Until we get a government structure manned from A to D that has at its prerogative to put in place these measures of quality of work, and that if the quality of work is tested not to fit the contract specification of duration of 50 years, the contractors are supposed to be jailed. Ministers concerned, jailed. You will not do that in China. Korea, North Korea, you cannot do that. Then they give you a project and you play with it. Then the specification is like this, and you come and you are patching. I told people sometime here on this platform that when you go to Diongo village, outskirts of Buea, after the bridge in Munya, that the maintenance work there was done using sand and gravel, trowel and truck, as if they were doing construction work. Okay. How do you expect that kind of work to last?
Let us to take a second. Let us take a listen to what the Delegate General for National Security said recently in the South region after he visited Mutengene. But after that, also we're going to take a listen to Bo Elvis, who is going to paint a picture of how the roads in some of the roads in Yaoundé look like.
Dès qu'il met en place un gouvernement, dans les 48 heures qui suivent, il réunit le Conseil des ministres au Palais de l'Unité pour rappeler les orientations qu'il entend donner aux membres du gouvernement nouvellement mis en place pour suivre et exécuter les directives en vigueur qu'il a déjà données. Mais que faisons-nous? J'ai été jeudi au sud-ouest, à Mutengene. Entre Yaoundé et Mutengene, ça a été un calvaire. Un calvaire pour circuler. Je n'avais jamais vécu cette situation auparavant. Pourquoi? Le président a donné des orientations, a donné des instructions. Il y a des membres du gouvernement en place. Que faisons-nous pour le développement de notre pays?
Hello, Kum Leonard. Hello to you, viewers of Prime Television and My Media Prime. You're welcome to the nation's political capital, where we've decided to descend to our roads and take a look at the situation of our roads here in the nation's political capital, which has been described by most observers as being in an advanced state of dilapidation. So we are going to be examining the situation of our roads right here around Carrefour GP, where there are lots of potholes, and the situation becomes even worse when it rains. After that, we are going to take you to Mendong, which is also an area where we have bad roads with what we describe as pools each time there is rain. And then from there, the situation is even worse somewhere around Biscuitery there in from around Biamasi, passing through where we have most of the agencies that fly the Yaoundé-Bamenda highway. The situation there seems to be very worse with so many potholes around that area. I'm talking about from Carrefour Biamasi right up there to around Carrefour Obili. And then from there, we are also going to take you to Karamba, where the situation too is something that has been bringing forth lots of complaints from observers. It is now time for us to take one of our passerbys who has also been observing the situation. We are going to get to him right now. Hello, how are you doing? Look at the camera, please. Hello, how are you doing?
Bonjour, I'm francophone.
No problem, no problem. You can express yourself in French. There's no problem about that. Cameroon is bilingual. You are a car owner, and I'm sure that you've surely been having some issues with your car because of the bad state of our roads.
Non, vraiment, ça ne vaut pas la peine. Ça ne vaut vraiment pas la peine. Quand les responsables se placent à la télé, disent qu'il n'y a pas de trous en route, je sors le matin en voiture, je rentre à pied, vous-même regardez. Ce n'est même pas parler, vous-même regardez. Regardez. En plein carrefour GP, la gare présidentielle, c'est honteux, c'est malheureux. Il n'y a pas de route, on dit qu'il n'y a pas de trous, les poubelles, regardez vous-même. Ça doit changer, de qui se moque donc vous-même regardez. Tout le monde est obligé de partir à sens inverse. Voilà un camion comme ça qui doit garer parce qu'il ne peut pas faire le rond-point. Parce que c'est cassé, il doit attendre la nuit pour passer. Parce que si tente d'entrer, il va caler dans le trou, la route va se couper. Non, vraiment, c'est...
Okay, so now you spoke about, look at the camera please, you spoke about trucks, what you call it in French, camions.
Oui.
What do you think is the problem causing the potholes we have? What is causing the potholes we have around our roads?
C'est la négligence, non? C'est la négligence. Les vrais patrons sont assis là-bas, chacun manque de son argent, ils roulent dans les grosses voitures. Quand les papas responsables se placent à Mondio Visuel, ils disent qu'il n'y a pas de trous, le bas peuple souffre. Tu sors le matin avec ta voiture, tu rentres à pied parce que c'est compliqué. Et ils ont les bons, ils ont les agents, ils ont les... Vraiment, ça ne vaut pas la peine. Ça doit changer. Il faut qu'on fasse quelque chose, ça doit changer. Ça ne vaut pas la peine.
So before we leave you, any suggestion you have? Because we are right here around Carrefour GP. Once we leave here, we are going to move to Karamba before moving to Biscuitery and then. So any suggestion? Do you have any suggestion for authorities?
Oui, j'ai une suggestion. Il faut qu'on arrange ça. Parce à Karamba là-bas, quand il pleut, personne ne peut plus passer. Je dis personne ne passe plus. Ici au moins, il faut quand même, nous sommes dans un pays respectable. C'est le carrefour de la GP, la garde présidentielle. Vous-même regardez. Est-ce que ces choses comme ça devaient exister où? À la garde présidentielle. C'est pas sérieux. Ça veut dire qu'on n'est plus dans un pays sérieux. Disons-nous les vérités. À Karamba, là-bas, c'est grave. Dès qu'il pleut, une semblant de pluie, personne ne passe plus. Mais quelqu'un va dire qu'il n'y a pas les routes, il n'y a pas les trous, il n'y a pas la poubelle. Vraiment, ça me dérange beaucoup, mon frère. Ça me dérange.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. See you next time when we are doing another report. So we are going to leave Carrefour GP right now, and we are going to take you to Karamba to observe the situation right there. As you heard in the introductory remark, when I introduced the areas which I had to visit, I mentioned Karamba, but I did not mention Etetat. We are here around Etetat. Etetat is situated in Yaoundé 7 sub-division. You can see for yourself images of how the situation looks like. It's a sunny day in Yaoundé, and if we can have this amount of water on the road, then you can imagine what happens when it rains. Many people and many observers who pass around here have described the area as a swimming pool, and so many people who live around here, sometimes they have to abandon their cars in their homes and then maybe use bikes or trek because the situation cannot permit their cars to pass around here, especially when it has rained. Let us now take you to Mendong, precisely around the gendarmerie, where the stretch of road there is also having issues. Roads here around the gendarmerie Mendong, right up to Marché Mendong,
are marred by potholes and cracks, compromising safety and hindering navigation. Let's take a look at the situation.
Le mauvais état de la route, ça reflète l'image du pays. La route est mauvaise partout. La biscuiterie est pareille, Kondongo est un peu de partout. C'est ça le mauvais état de la route. Ça nous garde les motos et jusque-là, les gars de la mairie ne veulent pas nous laisser.
Same observation from this area here at Carrefour Biamasi to around Carrefour Obili, passing through Biscuiterie. We observe dilapidated infrastructure which persists with inadequate drainage. We discovered too that the poor road conditions hinder commerce, increase accident risk, and have economic implications, including reduced commerce and increased transportation costs, creating traffic too, considering that most of the 70-seater buses around this area ply the Yaoundé-Bamenda road.
There are so many things that affect the car. Example, have shocks and steering box. That is the only two things that spoils vehicle in the road. Shocks and steering box, the tires.
So how often do people come around here with problems related to shocks, tires and other issues when complaining about the situation of roads?
So many. There are so many people come here. It's not that same problem. So many people.
It's very, very terrible because I cannot count how many times I enter the garage per week because of due to the state of bad roads. You have shocks, you have kingpins, you have a steering socket, and you have steering box. Often get bad because of this road.
Road users, drivers, as well as other observers were clear with their intentions. They want the Cameroon government to undertake immediate repairs as well as long-term infrastructure development and collaborate with residents to address this critical issue. Right here from Yaoundé, reporting for Prime are Bo Elvis and Romeo Ngancha behind the camera.
If this can be a picture of what we get out of nation's capital, it tells that in other areas, Douala, Nolinga went through the streets of Douala. The situation is not too good. Bamenda is the same, and we saw Cedrick reporting from Boya there and other parts of the country. Is this an extra pressure brought on the Minister of Public Works?
Mr. Leo, the issue of roads in Cameroon is like a national sickness which has affected all and the nationwide. Because when you look at the roads in Yaoundé, you see how cars are swimming on the roads. And we should not blame the rain or poor maintenance of the road. The cause of the roads is not maintenance or rain. The issue here is poor construction. When you look at countries like Japan, China, they have roads and rain falls everywhere. But you barely hear those countries facing road problems and so on and so forth. The issue here should be that those who are constructing, who are those monitoring those who are constructing, who are those contractors? Because at times, at the end of the day, you see some contractors construct roads and we don't know where they finally go to. You see roads that have been constructed in 2018, like Mr. Fai was talking of. Today, you can't boast of the road, Mr. Leo. So we have been getting for 2035 emergency Cameroon. I don't believe if we are actually talking of emergency, because we are in 2024 today and we are left with less than 10 years, 11 years, Mr. Leo, that we don't have roads. There is no town I can actually boast of that, or we have roads in Cameroon, Mr. Leo. So we really need a change in the system.
Good evening to you all, sir. Please, this is the problem we have in this country, that when something is wrong, we don't see it that way. It's the problem of road, but people are now talking about ID cards. Joseph is writing from Jombe. Good evening to you, Joseph. Good evening, Mr. Kum. Love the program. Mr. Kum, in Cameroon, we have footpaths, not roads. Even the company that are put in place to maintain these roads, as they work before going to the road, are going bad with them. Just look at Banga. The last year we had maintained, but now, Mr. Kum, you need to see that that again. Calvin is writing from Banga. Someone has sent me a video of the road linking Nguti to Bangem, very deplorable, with bikes moving inside water. Greetings, to be honest, all is not well with many sectors. That is roads, rent, salaries, education, ID cards, prices of basic commodities, etc. I reiterate, please ask our panelists for a way forward. For me, is writing from Tiku. The government stakeholders are watching. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Love your program. Writing from Yaoundé, Damas. Precisely, the police of this country are so corrupt in such a way that they use the bad roads as control to work their money, and when accident occur, they run away. Good evening, Mr. Liu and crew on board. I'm Mr. Molwa from Limbe, and happy for this topic. It's very shameful. Potholes are as wide as 6 meters by 100 meters, and the controls are there to collect money, and nothing is done. Good evening, Mr. Leo. We have barely 11 years for Cameroon to emerge, and what the government could not do for over 4 decades. This can never be done for 11 years. Mr. Leo, this stretch of road just after Muya to Muyuka, precisely at Liongo, is also deplorable. Fishes were swimming in that pothole at mile 18. The bridge entering Bakweri town is not passable. Wasn't still. Part of Opa Muya has not got mere light for good 7 months now. What type of government is this? Are we very sure by 2035 that we shall emerge? Greetings to the panelists. This is Kumdung Bongu George from Opa Muya. Now, as you are talking, we do not know who have thrown the same gravel that the tipper drivers poured there. Okay? Good evening, Mr. Liu, and all the gentlemen in the panel. I'm Barrister Eyakwe, following from Abuja. Talking about the state of our roads and the lamenting of the DGNS, I really pity Cameroon. Even PM John Gute's village has no road. Cameroon is a failed state. Nothing is working. No ministry is working. No roads, no water, no healthcare, no lights, no refinery. Insecurity has become the order of the day. Police officers and gendarmes are busy collecting 1,000 from taxi drivers at mile 4, Ngeme, Misele, mile 14, mile 16, etc. In fact, okay. Good evening, Mr. Kum and panelists. Do you know that yesterday they started putting gravel on the spots from Douala to Yaoundé, meaning the money is there, but they don't want to do it. Good evening, Mr. Kum and panelists. Do you know that, okay? Hello, good evening, Mr. Leo. Wonderful. Please tell Mr. Kangaroo to calm down. Blessed evening. Sam Rich is writing from Gaunduri. Now, what should the government take out of what the Delegate General for National Security said in Mbalmayo, and what should be the next action to take by the government?
The action is very simple, if and only they can take it. Yaoundé, listen very well. The action is simple, if and only you can take it. Action 1. Based on the dilapidating states of roads that cut across the national territory, with the highest number of accidents that keep increasing year in, year out, Action 1. Minister fired. Action 2. New minister replaced, even if he comes and is playing, but I'm sure we should give him benefit of doubt. Action 3. A step up budget allocation with a new surveillance mechanism to ensure the qualitative and the quantitative nature of work on our roads. I repeat, to ensure the quantitative and the qualitative nature of works on our roads. If these are done within a given time frame, I repeat, within a given time frame, they say road is development. Government should take this road as a priority. Once the roads are there, even individuals will come and put health centers along those areas once the roads are moving. Individuals will come and open schools. People will come and start clearing somewhere before you know they start putting foundation to see how they can stay there, and then leave from those roads, go and buy the things in the market and come. So let the roads be there. If these measures are put in place, but to rely on the same system that we are not getting any result, the end result will be all of them are the 2G. Go on leave. You can even go anticipated leave. We have people who can manage temporary while the next election comes in, and then we put the right persons at the right place. If not, Cameroonians will die. Cameroonians will die because we are already dying. Even if my police boss himself can be compared, it means he wants he wastes his spinal cord. He said the one I never seen before. So somebody's talking like that, you think that he's just talking, but he has felt a particular pain somewhere that is pushing him to say, why are you people sabotaging the head of state who has given you the vision, instructed to work, and you are not working? So something needs to be done. These are the proposals. Simple. You don't need to meet a soothsayer. And the issues of curbing corruption within the police system needs to be revisited. Why will police people decide to put their control only at places where the roads are bad? Why? Because they know that vehicles are forced to slow there. It means they themselves are happy. Why will he not put a control checkpoint on an express highway? But it looks only for where there are potholes, where people are finding it difficult to navigate. That's why you have a control checkpoint. It means they themselves are endorsing the bad roads. So all checkpoints must be uprooted from places that are bad and places that are good. That means that they themselves are not praying for the bad roads. Apart from that, the right things must be done. Mr. Liu.
Okay, the right things must be done. Apostle Tar Williams, who is watching us from somewhere in Douala, says, greetings, the construction rules and regulations, specifications and quotations are not respected. The control mission should be responsible. Good evening to you, Dr. Apostle. Now, what should be the way forward?
Mr. Liu, the way forward should be, there are just two things.
Immediate actions to be taken.
Yes, let those who are incompetent to work be dismissed. And the government should recruit those who are ready and able to work, because those who are available now have failed us. In fact, the system has failed us, Mr. Liu. And the issue of ID cards, it's really, really serious in this country. We need to look into it, because when you do your ID cards for 4 years, Mr. Liu, you don't have an original ID card, it is tell that there's something wrong. But there are people who will do the ID cards today, Mr. Liu, tomorrow they have the ID card, because they go behind and they do what we don't know. So it's not really good, Mr. Liu, as a system that we should embrace. Thank you.
Okay, we want to thank you. The kangaroo man, I don't know whether the other reports are there. Okay, Dolly Ngonde is going to paint a picture of how the roads also look like in Douala.
Hi, televiewers of My Media Prime Television. It's your girl, Nolinga. Of course, we are on the streets of Douala again to talk the good, the bad, and the ugly. Remember, last time we were showcasing reckless waste disposal in the town and the city of Douala, as well as Douala's deadliest roads. But guess what? It was a commotion online because many city dwellers came complaining, oh, you did not mention our area. You did not call this area. So that is why we are out here to do justice. But first of all, let's appreciate what some councils have been doing. Let me take you over to the road linking the Quarter Pharmacy and Fengu Drombange. Good. What you see here used to be a reckless waste disposal site. But guess what? Based on our report from the previous time, it has been cleared off. So a kudos goes to the Douala 5 Municipal Council for doing a great job. Today, we are bringing you to the Eurojust Carrefour, commonly called Carrefour Eurojust here in Douala. So this road you see here, dear viewers, has been like this for a couple of months. Just to let you know that for the past 3 days, it has not been raining in the city of Douala, but this is what the people have been met with. Potholes filled with, of course, poor drainage systems, as well as water in them. As you can see, cars can hardly fly hitch-free without scratching their bonnets on the broken tar, and this happens on a daily basis. You look over there, it's supposed to be a road stretch where you see local businesses. The question of the day, who is to take care of these roads? It remains unanswered. Is it the community dwellers or the council? Because this is the plight of the people, as we now talk to one of the road users here.
It's so bad. Really, the situation is very bad. Very, very bad. I doubt whether the authorities in this country are watching. This road has been like this for almost 2 years. Look, even the car. good. It's very bad, and we are pleading that the people to this that may concern should do something. The people have died here. They have made accident and died in my front. Every day bikes are falling here. So we are really begging. We thank you to Media Prime TV.
It is actually one of Douala's.
We have to end here because we no longer have time to follow all of the reports. Charles Kebwa also did something last week on the situation of the roads in Bamenda, as well as others. But we're going to be coming back to it. We want to thank you guys for coming for Evisa Tayo, and to you, Bertrand Njito, coming all the way from the nation's capital, Yaoundé.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. I want to send my greetings to my Pernambuco people that are watching me. Send greetings to my mother, Evelyn Bali, and my father, Kimbi Eric, who is watching me, and the Kamwan family in Pernambuco. My regards to them and to the PAP militants. To my father, the president of PAP, Mr. Njang Dennis, who is watching me now, my regards to him. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Well, it's my pleasure being here. I'm sure surely we will be making another turn back still on this topic of roads, because we have to hit hard on it, whether Yaoundé likes it or not. Greetings to all those who have watched us right away, especially to the laureates of the Golden Award, Mr. Leo. You know that the Golden Award is downloading again for 15th to the 30th of November, and we have quite a handful of laureates who are quite in, and so greetings to all of them who are equally making their way, including government, few government ministers who exempted themselves from other quagmire things, and they too happen to be featuring in it. Just about one of them, which is exceptionally. But then, greetings to each and everyone, and hopefully we shall come back here again to talk more, especially happy and congratulations to the Golden Award laureates for this year 2024. God bless each and everyone, and for the militants of the party CRM, it will not be business as usual for the ruling party. Thank you.
Okay, we want to thank the production team, Eli and Desmond. We say thank you to you, Dolly Ngonde, and also to you, Jato Derek from Boya, as well as